I saw big news is that Rory MacDonald has made the decision to sign with PFL. And PFL, Professional Fighters League, they get their fights broadcasted on ESPN2. I'm not sure. If any of you guys know, leave it in the comments. I'm not sure how Bellator is doing compared to PFL in terms of viewership. I don't know who's pulling more in. But I would imagine that just the ESPN2 name, right? Like the fact that they have ESPN underneath them, I would imagine that PFL is going to pull better stuff, especially when you got an elite fighter like Rory MacDonald on your roster now. People are going to tune in to watch him fight because they know that he fought in the UFC. I mean, Rory MacDonald's one of the best welterweights in the world. Recently just lost his welterweight championship to Douglas Lima, who's another guy, man, who, I mean, I personally think that Douglas Lima is one of those guys who could hang around with the top 5 in the welterweight division. He's world fucking class, man. He's really good, has a great game plan every time he comes in to fight, and, went out and got a decision win over Rory MacDonald, who is one of the best fighters at 170 pounds in the world right now. And I think this is a smart move for Rory because, especially in terms of pay, PFL has a welterweight championship, right? Like a tournament style where you work your way through the bracket and it's based on a point system. And the winner of the tournament ends up winning $1 million. And if you consider how good Rory MacDonald is, in the beginning part, not that you can sleep on anyone, it's MMA, I'm not saying that, but in the beginning parts of that tournament, Rory MacDonald should have an easy way through up until like the semifinals and the finals is when I think you'll start seeing him face a little bit of resistance, But, I mean, he's one of the best in the world, so like I said, low risk, and then you go into a tournament that you think you're going to be able to make. I would imagine that Rory MacDonald would be the favorite to win that tournament, and it's $1 million, you know what I mean, in your pocket, which is a big purse for a fight. And I understand that you have to win to get there, but I would say it's pretty likely that Rory MacDonald will be able to pull that off. Not that he won't face resistance. I just think Rory MacDonald is very legit, right? So, and also consider, I think that I looked at the pay, and I might be, again, correct me if I'm wrong on this. I don't want to be talking out of my ass, but I think that Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington both just made north of $500,000 for the fight that they put on. So, I mean, to win $1 million in a fight is a significant amount of cheddar. So good move for Rory MacDonald. I don't know, like I said, I don't know how it's going to play out in terms, this is going to be a good thing for both PFL and Rory. But right now, as in terms of like viewership, I don't know who's pulling more, PFL or Bellator. I feel like Bellator's marketing might be a little better, but PFL, like I said, they've got ESPN underneath them. So I don't know. And now, ESPN works with the UFC, so I would imagine there's going to be a little bit of like negotiations about the footage that they can use from Rory's UFC days, and I'm sure that the UFC will be okay with that. Like, I don't know. I think it's a good move for both the company and Rory MacDonald, the individual, right? So good for him.